Welcome to FSM After Dark on Franchise Sports Media YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, which is probably going to be up there, Periscope, and Twitter. I'm Joe Arrigo. Along with me is Richie Decristan and Kalani Lua. Big night tonight in Las Vegas sports. It's a night that, quite frankly, 5 years ago, I would have been. I mean, when I broke the story, I would have been beyond excited to talk about. But I want to start the show, guys, with something that is important. When I first got to Vegas, one of the first people I hooked up with was JT the Brick, and he introduced me to a gentleman by the name of Mark Seidel, who was the program director for ESPN Las Vegas, Fox Sports Las Vegas, and at the time NBC Sports Network in Las Vegas. Mark and I instantly hit it off. He was a guy that we had a lot of similar interests. We have a similar background. He and I, similar programming philosophies in radio. We both were program directors, or at the time he was. And this became an instant friendship, instant brotherhood. We hung out a lot. We went out and had dinner a lot. And through the toughest points in our life, with Mark, with the passing of his ex-wife, through his divorce, through my divorce, and through the passing of my son, Mark was there for me. Mark was there the entire time. We were there for each other. I was there for him. And I talked to him just a couple of weeks ago, him and Chrissy Paratis, who is Steve Cofield's former producer on the show. And they're very much in love. And Mark got a job running the station he broke into in radio in North Carolina. And he called me to check to see how I was doing with the loss of Joey and everything else. And we had planned, Jaleesa and I had planned to go down there and see Mark and Chrissy and spend some time with them. And the last conversation we had in there, he was like, bro, like, we got to do this more often. It's far too long. I love and respect you immensely. And the feelings was mutual. Last night on Twitter, Ron McKinnell tweeted out something about the passing of Mark. And the first person I seen was Matt Peralt, and I text Matt like, hey, like, what's going on with this? He goes, I don't know. But it seems real. So I reached out to Ed Graney, who confirmed it. Later that night, Mark's sister, Stephanie, opened up, and Mark, at the age of 37 years old, had a massive heart attack and passed away in his sleep. For 2020 and me, this year can't end fast enough for a variety of reasons, but one of which is there's 5 people now in my life that have passed away. All under the age of 45. Well, 4 of the 5 under the age of 45, the other one under the age of 55. Mark was a loving dude, a kind soul. He was a guy that, if he liked you and he had your back, that was you're his boy 100%. He was honest and loyal. And I'm gonna miss him. When I was going through it, Mark was there. And I didn't tell anybody publicly I was going through the separation when it happened for me. It was very painful. And Mark was the only one that I told locally in Las Vegas, except for, I think one other person. And the Saturday after the 1 October terrorist attack was the UNLV San Diego State game, and I was doing pregame for UNLV at the time for ESPN Radio. And I got stuck in traffic because they were doing some Project Neon on 95 and 515, whatever. And I was coming from Northwest Las Vegas. And I missed the pregame show. But I was on the phone with Mark an hour before, like, bro, like, I'm stuck in traffic. We're not moving. This is like LA. Mark understood. And people try to throw that in my face, one person in particular, because I missed that. And that's the reason why you didn't work with them. No, it's because I wanted to get my life together. And Mark was an integral part of that. By losing Mark, Las Vegas lost one of the nicest, most knowledgeable forward-thinking sports broadcasters and programmers. And my heart goes out to his family and Chrissy and everybody that knew Mark, from Cofield, Adam Hill, Bischoff, Ed Graney, Pritchard, Mitch Mosh, Clay, Seat, JVT, Ari, Jarrett, JT, and everybody else affiliated with the station. My thoughts and prayers are with you guys, and this one hurts. So on behalf of myself and Franchise Sports Media, our thoughts and prayers and well wishes go out to Mark Seidel, his family and friends. Love you, bro.
Absolutely.
With that being said, one of the first stories that Mark had me on was when I broke the Raiders coming to Las Vegas, and tonight was a culmination of that. Allegiant Stadium opened up. The Raiders did everything you wanted them to do. They opened it up with a bang and in style with the 34-24 victory over the New Orleans Saints. Kalani, Raider ganging it up right now. Yes, sir. Man, so it was bittersweet for me. I mean, I wasn't there, but damn it was fun to watch, and that stadium looked miraculous. Rich, what'd you think?
Oh, it looked awesome. Game was great. To see them come out and win their home game against Drew Brees and the Saints and do it in the fashion they did. Derek Carr spreading the ball, hitting over 10 receivers, I believe, in the game. He looked really good. The running game looked really good. Wasn't any kicking problems. Special teams, everything looked good, especially Darren Waller. That kid is something special. And I'm just very happy for the city of Las Vegas, Raider Nation, all their fans, and happy to see them become another big team in this city with the Golden Knights. And, who knows? Maybe we'll add some signed Raider stuff up here somewhere. I don't know. Maybe Joe could hook that up, or somebody can hook that up. That'd be great. Donations are available, too, by the way. Kalani?
The Franchise Sports Media.
Yep.
Donations. I thought it was a trash bag. Don't you know me?
Uh-oh, are we getting it? The Raiders won? Are we getting it?
You know what? Hold up. The Raiders did win. So you know what that means?
Oh, God.
Yes, sir. Hey, the truffle shuffle. Yeah, buddy. Oh, man. Hey, seriously, though, in all honesty, to Joe, to everybody else, man, very sorry to hear about the loss. Stuff like that is tough, especially in a year like this where it seems like it's just piling on. But like you said, the bittersweetness, or for most of us, the excitement was the Las Vegas Raiders home opener. Here I am working in Las Vegas where, where I'm out and about in the town throughout the day. And there was an excitement in the air, even though there were no fans allowed. I don't know if you guys were able to see or how many times they showed it on the broadcast, but they had fans at the stadium out front.
Yeah, they were outside, yeah.
Yeah, they were outside having a ball. Earlier in the day, a lady came by on a horse. Yes, that really happened. Okay. It was fantastic. If you go up and down the strip, you saw people waving their flags, jerseys. Obviously, you had some fans who didn't know any better and wore some Saints jerseys, but that's okay. Bless their heart. But it was very good to see the Raiders last week win, which we've seen before, but to get 2 wins in a row to start the season, one on the road, one at home. Against, I understand the Carolina Panthers may not be the team that they're supposed to be just yet. New head coach, new quarterback, new wide receivers. Luke Kuechly's not there. I get that. But they got some legit talent there. We saw the adversity that they overcame there. You look at New Orleans. This is a team that last week made Tom Brady look like he didn't belong in the NFL anymore. future Hall of Famer and Drew Brees. I understand Michael Thomas wasn't there, but they brought in Emmanuel Sanders. They got Smith out there. They got Jared Cook, former Raider. Then they got the running backs back there, Kamara and Murray, former Raider. Then on defense. And yet the Raiders did not let that deter them from, even when we got down a little bit, we was like, no, we're still in this fight. So it was good to see the Vegas Raiders fight back and not get down. Unfortunately, in the past, we've seen where if they get punched in the mouth, they didn't know how to counter. This time, they're bobbing, they're weaving, they're slipping a few punches there. They're taking some shots, but they're giving them right back. So kudos to John Gruden, because if you guys remember, before the season, he did an interview saying that he wanted to be more aggressive. He needs to be more aggressive for this team. He can't be conservative with the play calling. In 2 weeks so far, we've seen him. Yes, he's had moments of being conservative, but also being aggressive. So kudos to him, and very happy for the Las Vegas Raiders. 2-0, baby.
I actually noticed on my way into work real quick, Joe, all the news vans, because I have to drive by the stadium every day on my way into work, and I probably drive by it 2 more times, but I noticed all the news vans outside, and like Kalani was saying, just different energy in the air today.
Did you guys see us, Franchise Sports Media, on Channel 13 tonight?
Yeah, I only get 2 channels, Joe.
My bad.
Yeah.
ESPN and Fox Sports 1.
Well, no, the other channel I get, I don't really get it. It's real blurry, but if I watch it after midnight, I get to hear certain sounds that put me to sleep.
And you see some Nippolonias on there?
Every now and then. Unfortunately, sometimes it's not always on the body. I hope it was.
Oh, my God.
I swear to God, Ma, I thought this was a cooking show.
Hey, I swear to God, man, I was just learning how to bake some cookies.
Well,
he said he was Flave, and I didn't know what that meant.
Oh, my God.
Hey,
they said they're making a bukkake stew. What's that?
Exactly. And he said he wanted to stuff for turkey. I wanted to see what they did differently than us.
Oh, my God. Well, Channel 13 was doing a special on high school football players and the struggles they're going to have or they're having with recruiting and everything else. And they used our footage from the Liberty Gorman game and then the Liberty Centennial State Championship game. So it was very nice of them to use that. I thank them for that.
That is awesome. Very proud.
Right on, man. Right on. Big up.
What I seen tonight with the Raiders, and I want to get into this kind of in depth with you guys. Okay, before anything, I seen, and I was really on Derek Carr all night in a positive way. Derek Carr for 2 weeks in a row now has looked like he's mastered John Gruden's offense. He's guiding it. He's making great decisions. He's not just doing things, throwing the ball in the dirt, like some fans would say. Or he got pressured a few times early on. The first 2 series was tough, but then after that, he settled in and he got pressured. He stepped up, made some very good throws in some tight spaces. He did some things to me that showed a huge growth. And he also has the weapons around him besides Waller. I mean, you've seen the difference with Ruggs on the field, how the Saints had to defend the Raiders. You've seen Josh Jacobs open the field with his running. So now they got to come up, and that freed up Darren Waller. You've seen, and when you see the Ruggs speed, he caught one ball for like 4 yards or whatever it was. But that speed you have to account for. That speed led them to the field goal that really sealed the victory on that deep pass interference call against Jackrabbit and Norris Jenkins. So I see things. I've seen adjustments from Gruden in the second half where he was like, you know what? We have them on the ropes. We're going to assert our dominance. We're going to punch them in their mouth. We're going to run the ball right at them. We're going to play our brand of football. And the Raiders did a great job of that. Defensively, after the first 2 series, the Raiders defense outplayed the Saints. Let's be after the first 2 series.
Absolutely.
The Raiders outplayed the Saints as overall on all 3 phases. So if you're a Raiders fan, and the Saints were a team, I think they've won 15 out of their last 18 road games. For the Raiders to beat them and for the second straight week score 34 points, you have to feel really enthused. And that's losing Incognito and having John Simpson step in at left tackle. That's without Trent Brown or Sam Young at right tackle. That's losing guys on the defensive side of the ball. Hell, Javen White, my guy Javen from UNLV, gets activated today, gets on the field, gets in on the Saints' initial goal line where they scored the touchdown that series because the linebacker, I think Morrow, got hurt, and then makes the first special teams tackle in Las Vegas Raiders history at the stadium. Wow. Like how dope is that? You know what I mean? So if you're a Raiders fan, there's a lot of good things to be enthused about. What'd you say, Kalani?
That's just coming together, man. Like you said, a UNLV Rebel at the place where the Rebels will be playing some games, making that first tackle like that. That's just coming together, man. Sorry to interrupt.
He said, I'm just going to walk across the street and go make a tackle over here real quick. Hold on.
I did it over here, so let me show you how we do it in Vegas.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Jay is a guy where you guys, if you don't know him, you're going to be like, man, why did this guy go undrafted? He shouldn't have gone undrafted. He should have been drafted by somebody. If it was any other year, he would be a guy that was a mid to late round pick. He's a guy that's gonna make an impact for the Raiders. And I actually thought in the second half, really in the fourth quarter, when the Saints, you knew they were going to pass the ball because they had to get back in it, I would have put Javen in the game there because he excels at coverage, and he would have been able to lock down a tight end or even a running back, Kamara, out the backfield, because Jay is a 4-4 guy. He can flat out go. So I really feel like the impact that he could have made and that he did make was good. But overall, look, if you're a Raider fan, you have to feel enthused with where you're at right now. 2-0, you're going into a week where you have Cam Newton and the Patriots, and then you're back home against the Bills and then the Chiefs. So you have a tough 3-game stretch. If you can get out of this 2-1 or even 1-2 and be above 500 going into your bye week, you're in good shape, and you just got to keep the guys healthy.
Absolutely.
Well, the two of the next 3 games are going to be against Richie's team, so he's going to have a rooting interest both weeks.
That's true. I'm certain really all 3 weeks, to be honest.
Realistically, all 3 weeks those are his team.
Because it's West, they're all Eastern Nevada, so I mean.
yeah. As long as it's Eastern Nevada, that's what he roots for. Yeah, got it, Richie. Go ahead, Rich.
You guys are killing me. I can't even keep a straight face. No, what I was going to say is the biggest thing to me that I saw in that game, honestly, was them overcoming adversity in that game. Fumbling the ball. Just battling the entire game. And like you said, Joe, in all 3 phases, you saw battling. Recovering fumbles, losing fumbles, just everything. And to me, it's so exciting. And I really, really wish there was fans in the stadium tonight, because I live real close to the stadium, and I think we would have been able to hear them tonight, especially on one of those last scoring drives. But
oh yeah,
it's sad, like you said, that we can't get fans in the stadium to see how they really would have done. But I think going into these next couple of weeks, like you said, they win 2 going into that bye. You're talking about, is this one of the best teams in the AFC now?
No, you still got ways to go for that, man. You got to factor in, like Joe said, injuries. It's not just us, and I'm sure we'll talk about it throughout the show, but injuries across the board. The fact that training camp wasn't what it was. Yeah, you want to get out the gates early and hot, but you got to think at some point, probably just after the midpoint of the season, the truly good teams, those are going to be the ones that start to show out. That's why I said I do feel like for defenses, they may not be a lot of good defensive showings early on, because for defense, a lot of it is chemistry, communication, and knowing your assignment. For offense, especially ones that have played together, they might gel a little quicker. So early on, we might get a lot of big scoring games throughout the entire NFL. And then as the year goes on, defenses start to clamp down, and so we'll see. But one thing, and you guys both kind of touched on it, in being a Raiders fan and watching how they've played these 2 games, and I look at last year, there's a different feel with this Raider squad. I'm not trying to hype them up to be the greatest of all time.
No, you're 100% right.
But there's a different feel. When you bring in, and I still say it to this day, I was not a fan of Richie Incognito. Still to this day, I'm not. But when you bring in a veteran who can still perform at his level, Then you bring in young guys like Abrams, who brings that kind of swagger confidence to him. You bring in Josh Jacobs. He's not the rah-rah guy, but, man, he's the rumble guy on the field. When you start bringing in guys throughout the team, the coaching staff, it's not just now all hype and preseason talk. It's like, no, we're showing last year we can play with these teams. And then you look at some of the rookies and guys they brought in this year, it's even more confidence building for them. And when I see both of these games, I see a franchise now that looks like when they step on the field, like you said, they know they can overcome adversity. Whereas before, go ahead.
Well, I'll say one thing along those lines. The Raiders had 13 yards in penalties. That's disciplined football. Okay, that's not something that
last time we heard that about the Raiders.
Exactly.
Normally, they're racing the yards for the penalties.
Well, in comparison, the Saints had over 100 yards in penalties. They had 113 last week and 100 this week.
And that's a Drew Brees, Sean Payton team. That's not
Drew Brees is done. Drew Brees is done.
I said that to my roommate. I said he should have retired last year and took that broadcasting job. He would have went out at least right like this. He would have went out like that.
Kalani, I'm going to speak coach terms with you because I know you coach football. And did you guys win this weekend, by the way?
No, we played this Saturday. Last week we just had a scrimmage, but this Saturday we play in Arizona.
Okay. Drew Brees can't push the ball down the field. He can't do it anymore.
Does he look like number 18 as last year?
No, I think he looks better than number 18, but he doesn't.
Well, but I mean the fall off.
No, I don't think
Peyton's was worse, obviously.
Yeah,
he could throw a ball 18 yards.
Yeah, Brees can't step in and just drive it anymore like he used to. I mean, even then, he was more of a timing guy than he was anything else as a passer. He didn't have that rocket arm. But even at that, he still wasn't making those throws. And he was off on a lot of throws he should have hit tonight. So I tend to think that, part of it was a scheme. I give Gunther credit for second half adjustments. And even after those first two series, he did a really good job. But also, look, Brees is done. And I'll pose the question, are we going to see Jameis Winston starting for the Saints at any point this year?
The only way I think we get there is either an injury or if the Saints fall to the point where, like you said, Brees can't get over 200 yards a game, interceptions galore. I don't know if he's done because you also got to take into the fact that he was without Michael Thomas, who's always been like his safety blanket. Even when it's not deep, he even knows he can go short with him. So let's just say I'm sending Smith deep and I'm sending Cook up the sidelines. If for whatever reason those don't work, I can get the short pass to Thomas. He makes it work and you get into a rhythm. It's just like with everything else. If I can't find a rhythm, it's hard for me to make those other throws that are more difficult because normally I'm making those in rhythm. I get what you're saying, Joe. After 2 weeks, I don't know if I want to say that just yet, but I will say I can see where you're coming from.
I don't really
go ahead, Rich.
I don't see that happening either, just because I'll take Drew Brees throwing short and high a foot than Jameis Winston trying to throw more interceptions than picks. But to me,
interceptions are picks.
I'm sorry, interceptions, touchdowns. I apologize. Thank you. Yeah, that's why you were looking at me weird. I'm like, what? What did I say when until he said it back?
I was like, I may be drinking, but I ain't drinking. Okay,
hey,
what the hell?
It's late, bro. We've all had a little bit. But anyway, the picks thing. I was gonna say almost the argument of if something like that did happen, hypothetically, do you think Taysom Hill deserves the nod?
Hell no.
No?
He's a gimmick player. He can't throw the ball. He's a gimmick player. He's a gimmick player.
Yeah, but people said that about everybody. Russell Wilson, Cam, Lamar.
You could watch Russell Wilson at North Carolina State and at Wisconsin and know that guy's the guy. The only knock on Russell Wilson
but
is
when he got in the NFL, Joe, not everybody knew about him in college.
The NFL people did.
A lot of people, but I'm saying fans is what I'm saying. They looked at him as a gimmicky player, is what I'm getting at. Because he runs around. He's not a gimmicky guy, obviously.
Well, it's tough. It's tough because, and I understand he brings controversy, but look at someone like a Tim Tebow.
Even better. Even better.
He wasn't a great passer, but if you put in that scheme, he can make it work. Same thing with Colin Kaepernick. He wasn't like this tremendous passer that could pick you apart. But in Harbaugh's scheme, he ran that thing to a T. So for Taysom Hill, it's possible he could play in the NFL. But just like with any other quarterback, especially a quarterback, you gotta be in the right system that exploits most of your strengths as opposed to your weaknesses. It'll be interesting to see if he's actually given a true job, if a true chance. Can he actually go out there and do it? It's possible, but as of right now, it doesn't seem like he can be out there for 4 quarters just playing quarterback.
Okay, let me get to 2 points. One, Drew Brees tonight still had Alvin Kamara, Emmanuel Sanders, Jared Cook, Smith. He still had a ton of weapons. It's not like he didn't. He was devoid of weapons. So he's just not the same dude anymore. And anytime you think about retiring, huh?
Well, yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off, Joe. It's just because I'm not. No. This isn't a joke, but I know you could go on your rants, and I don't want to forget about it. Could you also give credit to the defense and saying,
absolutely,
he has some of those other weapons, but maybe whatever they did, it just took them away.
But that's what I was
going to say. Questions about Drew Brees last week.
No, that's what I was just going to say too. Though is they played good, but I think the Raiders played better.
Well, I don't disagree with that, but I'm saying
I don't think Drew Brees.
I'll frame it like this: if Derek Carr had Drew Brees' stat line tonight, fans would be calling for him to get out of Las Vegas.
Oh hell! I was almost thinking that on the one series. I forget which one it is. Forgive me.
The first or the second one.
He overthrew Henry Ruggs on a deep throw to the corner, and then the next 2 plays he took sacks in the pocket. And I had to go to practice, but I'm so frustrated because I was like, don't tell me this is going to be Carr again. Because on both those sacks, if he trusted his legs more, he could have got out the pocket and got positive yards.
Well, yeah, he could have got the pocket.
So long, they collapsed.
He had somebody, I think it may have been Ruggs, in one of those on a deep crossing route that he was wide open. But Waller. I mean, it was Waller, but the pocket collapsed on him though, so he couldn't step up and go.
And he didn't look like he went for that real quick, Joe, either. He looked like he was still trying to sit there instead of running.
The first 2 series, he looked tentative. And then the light bulb went on, it seemed like. But my point is Brees still had his weapons other than Michael Thomas. And it is what it is. Now, in terms of Taysom Hill was a Green Bay Packer, and they released him because he couldn't throw. He could run the ball. He did the same thing at BYU. He could run, but he could not throw. The guy can't throw. So, and furthermore, the Saints are paying him $16 million to be a gadget player. That's the reason why they can't re-sign or go after certain players, because they're paying this dude $16 million because they
run him out there just to wear him out.
So I mean,
Hey Joe, I know it's not the same. Obviously, every case is different. But when you say, well, he used to be a Packer and he couldn't throw. Well, you know, there was another guy who used to be a Packer, and I understand someone in front of him was really good. But, when he went to St. Louis, he kind of had a pretty good career.
It's a different story.
Every case isn't the same. But just because it doesn't work for you in one place doesn't mean it can't work for you someplace else. There was a quarterback in Tampa Bay a long time ago. I don't know if you guys knew this. I think he's a Mormon. He was in Tampa Bay, didn't do too good. Went to San Francisco, had to sit behind another starting quarterback for a while.
Hold on.
And then he did pretty good. Even when you may struggle in one place for whatever reason and things don't work out, you might go someplace else, get better coaching, be in a better system that fits what you can do. Hey, I'm just saying. At one point, we thought Alex Smith was a bum and couldn't play. All of a sudden, Harbaugh comes into town, and Alex Smith damn near is leading his team to the Super Bowl. So,
so in the case of Kurt Warner,
in
the case of Kurt Warner, you still had Tom Brunell Matt Brunell and Mark Brunell. Brunell and Detmer were Favre's backups. Okay, I get it. He's better. But in the case of Taysom Hill, who the hell was backing up Aaron Rodgers?
Well, it's Aaron Rodgers, man. You really don't.
It doesn't matter.
I'm more meant with the Taysom Hill thing of, does he deserve the nod because he's put in his time before?
No, because Jameis has more talent than him. It's about talent, not time.
You got to earn, you got to earn that, man. I'm with Joe. That's about talent. If I'm gonna do that, I need. Well, now what I would say is I'm gonna give you guys equal reps with the first team or second team in practice for X amount of weeks. Best player wins. It's all about it's competition, baby. I can't just give it to you for time. Whoever's better, if that's Winston or Hill, that's who gets it.
And I think in even with the Raiders situation, you have. Is it Peterman and Kaiser as the backups now?
Oh no. I mean, I swear to Christ, Joe, if Nathan Peterman gets on the field, I'm shaving your goatee.
Peterman. No, I don't want Peterman. Hey, man.
Yeah, if he gets on the field,
I don't want Peterman as my quarterback. Listen here, okay? Knock on some wood. I don't want Peterman as my quarterback, okay?
Peterman.
Peterman. I'm going to trade for somebody. So I was in a Twitter debate most of the game with the Raider fan. I forget his handle offhand. And he's not a car guy. And I find it interesting how Raider Nation literally either you're a car guy or you're a car hater. There's no like objective takes on him. I try to be objective. When he does well, like tonight, I am very complimentary. And when he doesn't do well, I am critical of him. That's my job. That's our job. I'm not a fan of the team. I don't have Raider tattoos. I'm not rocking Raider gear. I'm not Squeeze. I'm not Kalani. Like, that's just the reality of it. Okay. And it's cool, but I'm honest. And when it comes to Carr, I feel like he takes some unnecessary hits with Raider Nation because, and I get the frustration because in 2016, he was an MVP, the MVP candidate. I mean, he went out there and he had weapons and he was killing it. And then he had the broken ankle, broken leg. Then the next year he plays behind one of the worst offensive line. The next couple of years, he breaks his back and plays with broken bones in his back. Of course, he's going to be gun shy. When he was drafted, he was supposed to be the savior of the franchise. I mean, Central California kid, grew up a Raider fan, went to Fresno State. This is supposed to be a first round pick, and he comes out. He's got it all, and wins the job from Matt Flynn and whoever else was in front of him that they paid a lot of money for. He beats them out, and I get the frustration from Raider Nation that he's not a franchise guy. He can't make people better. And my counterpoint to that is, one, nobody knows the Raider playbook. First of all, now everybody knows Gruden's playbook is a lot of verbiage. I've talked to players and they're like, man, this shit is hard. Real talk, man, this shit is hard. He knows it. Secondly, he hasn't had weapons the last 3 years. This is the first time since that MVP caliber year, he's had real legitimate weapons that they can win some ball games. And some guys, and what he did, he stopped the bleeding at the quarterback position. Up until Gannon, from Gannon on, there was that was a horrible position. It was just bludgeoned with everything. It was trash. And he was like, well, what about Jason Campbell? He had one good year. Look at the records from quarterbacks that's not Derek Carr to where Carr's record. You see the Raiders are a better team. And he stabilized the position. I don't get the hate because all the dude does is go out there and lay it on the line week after week. And tonight, he played his ass off for the second straight week, and the Raiders are 2-0, in part because of the way he played and decisions that he made.
Well, Joe, you gotta realize, man, and I tend to be on the opposite end of this just because it's my nature. But when it comes to fans of a team, you can never go to them for objective thoughts and ideas. Yeah. You can never do that. I'm sure if I as an objective Raiders fan, if I went on the Green Bay Packers fan page, I'd be like, wait, are you guys serious? Y'all not see what Devontae Adams is doing? No, but you don't see the drop that it's like, dude, he dropped one pass. It's going to happen. You know what I mean? So it happens from a fan base, the expectations, etc. Trust me, I get into it with a lot of Raider fans on social media because I always like to be on the opposite end of it. And, like you said, all those things about Carr, it is frustrating because we have seen what he can be. Whether it's a combination, and I believe it's a combination of the injury the coaching staff that he's had set till now, and then even when Gruden came in, where it felt like, okay, is this him being gun shy, or is he just checking down because the coaching staff wants to, quote unquote, bring him along safely? You look at all these other young quarterbacks in the NFL, they out there running and gunning, or they out there letting it loose. Look at Josh Allen in Buffalo. Even when he didn't have any wide receivers. Hey, Josh, you could throw 98 yards, throw 99. Like, they're letting them do it. You know, if you make mistakes, but we don't get you that reps. Where it felt like with Carr, they always wanted to keep the training wheels on. You know, I remember the year where Jamarcus Russell, where he played, and they said, well, we only have him reading half the field to make it easier on him. So most of the plays will be designed just to this side of the field so he can read that. It felt like that's what every Raiders coaching staff was trying to do with Carr, whether it was Jack Del Rio or Dennis Allen or whoever. And it was frustrating because we're like, wait a minute, we see from time to time what he can do. We hear what he can do, but we're not seeing it consistently from week to week. So there's also that frustration as well. But, and like you said, and I'll wrap it up so Richie can get in, you also got to have talent around you, man. You know, like, don't get me wrong. I understand the narrative to be a leader or a great player. You elevate others. And look, man, Tom Brady elevated a lot of people we didn't know about, but they were also good players in that particular system. Russell Wilson has done the same thing in Seattle. He's elevated guys who were good in that particular system. So it's got to be guys who fit your system, or like a Terrell Owens, just a wide receiver not many people knew, but he was going to emerge regardless of where he was at. You got to have that. And when you don't have that, it's like, yeah, dude, it's like when Emmitt Smith went to Arizona. I can't make sugar out of shit and whatnot. That I just can't do that. So, you know, for Carr, now that he's got talent, there's no more excuses. And so far, he's 2-0 and looking pretty good. Hope he keeps it up.
Heck yeah. And I think with Carr, it's a lot of you guys are saying, a lot of different coaches, different offensive coordinators, different offensive lines, different wide receivers, running backs, tight ends. This guy hasn't had a consistent group of 8 guys around him since he's been in the NFL. So to see him now have a young team, a good team, something where they are backing him, and I do agree with they need to open the playbook up, because it does. I feel like it's to go to baseball references, but they're like watching a pitch count with Carr, where it's sitting there and they're, all right, well, he threw 2 deep passes, let's run the ball 6 times, or he tried for a pass, let's run the ball twice. But, I mean, it's working. It's not a bad thing, but I think with Waller and Ruggs, you really need to bank a little more on letting this kid scramble a little and chuck the ball down the field if, you know, the pocket collapses. And I think, like I said, again, with them having Gruden around for a long time, Raiders fans need to realize that Bill Belichick and Tom Brady were not what they were. It took a little while. And you think about, they had Randy Moss. They didn't win a Super Bowl with Randy. So
that's true.
You gotta remember that it takes continuity and it takes time. And as long as these guys stay together and they play well, they'll keep the team together. And you'll see the Raiders get good. And I really think they're going to surprise the heck out of some people. I think they're going to make it to the playoffs this year, and I think you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised. So I'm going to say it now. And I don't think I don't think wild card, honestly. I think they're going to battle it out for the.
You think they're going to beat the Chiefs for the? You think they're going to beat the Chiefs for the division?
I'm going to say they're going to give them a hell of a run for their money. Because listen, it's a slump. It's hangover year for the Chiefs, and I don't think the Chiefs are that kind of team where they're like slacking this year. But I think the Raiders in the new city, like you guys are saying, and I feel personally, I think the Browns need to do the same thing and change their logos and rebrand, and maybe they'll get some luck. But the Raiders, I feel like them moving to Las Vegas was the best thing they've done. It gave everybody a new life and no more burden of these California cities.
I think the Raiders finally don't have something hanging over their head and they can focus just on football. And I think that is a breath of fresh air for a lot of people. Um,
I mean, no California shit, the new place.
and
Not
How awesome is it that we're seeing a Raiders game in September? No baseball field. When was the last time you saw that?
exactly. And here's the thing too. We talk about the pitch count. Well, maybe the pitch count is there because the weapons around him, they couldn't open it up because those guys weren't able to open it up.
You don't want to get these guys hurt. Do you want to see Henry Ruggs pull an ACL? I don't.
No, I'm not talking about Russ. I'm talking about the last few years. That's why he was on a pitch count. Look at the guy. I mean, you got him throwing to Marcel Aitman. I mean, there's like
Moore, who was good. Rod Streeter.
Yeah, like they
guys
got
who were decent, but they weren't going to be anything more than those few highlights they gave you, you know. But then at the same time, I also kind of look at it and say, look, this is what we got to lose. The hell with it, man. Let's go out here and let's open it up and let's just air it. If nothing else, let's try to score 50 points a freaking game.
Yeah.
If we win, we win. But, you know, this trying to be conservative when you don't have a good team, I never understood that. Like, if I don't have a good team, I'm going all out.
And how many one-time catches make wide receivers, these guys? I mean, they're good wide receivers, but nobody else knows about them until the Odell Beckham catch, the Santonio Holmes catch, the Randy Moss and somebody,
No, Moss, you knew about Moss.
No, I'm not saying. I said
at Florida State, you knew about Moss.
I use that as
like
a
one
term
per game with Moss.
No,
Yeah.
I use that as a term in Randy Mossing somebody.
When they got mossed. Oh, okay.
We got mossed.
It's funny you talk about how
he was that dominant that he's got a catchphrase after his name. You do a move. Oh, you got moss, son.
Hey, so it's funny you mentioned high scores. I like this high score, right? I don't know if you guys can see it. Oh, I can't.
No, we can't see it.
It was.
You know what? Go sit on a fort, Joe. Go sit on a freaking fort, Joe. Go play in traffic. My guy got hurt, man. That's some bull.
Both of you guys,
right there, man.
Both of you guys
I won
your
this
ass
week, too.
whooped by me the last 2 weeks. I got Richie last week, and I got Kalani this week.
Did you see this guy? Did you see this guy, Kalani? Last week he has Devontae Adams go off on me for 40. So then this week Devontae Adams don't do shit, and his damn running back goes off for 40 something. I'm like,
Aaron Jones does, yeah.
You know what he did, Joe? He went over there. He called Devontae Adams. He's like, Devontae Adams, listen, I really need you to go off this week. And he was like, I can't, Joe. And he was like, all right, put me on the phone with Aaron real quick.
My team is so good. My quarterback situation is so good. Kyler Murray's on my bench. I left 32 on my bench.
Yo, the mess, my freaking and look, I wish him nothing but a speedy and full recovery. When I saw Saquon Barkley go down, just like so many people in America,
that
I
was
said,
so bad.
no.
Listen.
Regardless of if I do not like your team, I got nothing against the Giants. But regardless of if I don't like your team, if I don't like you, I never ever want to see any athlete in any sport go down to injury. I'd rather you just have a bad game against my team than suffer an injury. But when I saw that, I looked at my roster and said, fucking Joe is going to kick my ass.
Can I tell you something really quick? So I know you guys always give me hell about my 50 teams.
Oh, God, here he goes.
But truthfully, I really just like the Jets. I really don't root for other football teams. I really dislike the Giants, and my sister is a Giants fan. But what's funny about it, I love Saquon. I love everything about the kid. He's phenomenal. So much fun to watch. But I wanted the Jets to actually not take Darnold and take Saquon or Baker, because I thought Baker's attitude would have did well in New York, and Barkley was the best player in the draft. And I remember my roommate's girlfriend was sitting there that night watching the draft, and she was like, oh, we took this running back. I was like, no, you took the best player in the draft. Without a doubt, you took the best player in that draft.
You reminded me about something with Darnold. So in this conversation I was having on Twitter with somebody. No.
I'm just kidding. I love Darnold.
He was saying, who's a quarterback that you think? Because I was like, it's not easy to find a quarterback to fit Gruden's system. You have to have certain traits. And he was like, well, who's another quarterback now that can do better? And I'm like, well, veteran or young guy, first of all, because young guys, you can groom into it. If you have the skill set, you can get a guy like Tua or Burrow or, one of those guys. Justin Herbert, who had a great game, finding out 30 minutes or 23 minutes before the game he was going to start. And it's funny. I was thinking,
like,
what a wake up call, huh? Like, say what? Yeah, you're going to take on the defending Super Bowl champs. Good luck, buddy.
And he goes out there and throws for 300 and just plays his ass off, like phenomenal. But
stay ready, so you ain't got to get ready.
Exactly. And the thing is, I said Sam Darnold, and he goes, "So would you trade Carr for Darnold in a first?" I go, "If I'm getting a first and Sam Darnold for Derek Carr, I'm making that trade every day of the week."
Yeah, see, when you throw in that first, man, that just makes it enticing in itself. And I could certainly see that, because I think Darnold's another guy that is getting a lot of unfair criticism. And when you look around,
head coach.
Well, not just a head coach, but just like we were talking about here with Derek Carr. Like, let's be honest. Who am I supposed to throw the ball to?
Yep.
You had Robbie Anderson. They traded him or let him go. I mean,
that's their
exactly. It's like, okay, wait a minute.
Jamal, and I don't want to get started.
Well, I can't throw to Jamal. I can't throw to Jamal. But first off, who's going to protect me up front? Who's supposed to be protecting me? Then two, who am I supposed to throw this damn ball to? Then, like you said, Rich, the one guy that I could throw the ball to, you let him go to Carolina. So now so for me, and again, this is why, like, when it comes to the draft, I say, man, it is so important for every quarterback to go to the right situation. Maybe not a team that's winning right away or whatever, but you got to go to an organization that has a good coaching staff and a team that's going to properly build around you. Because if you don't, we've seen too many good quarterbacks' careers just take a shit shot. Look at Matt Leinart with Kevin Windhut, I believe it, or whatever. Wisenhunt in Arizona. That was not the team nor the coach for him. So, and Joe, I would actually disagree, because Gruden's career, although it's not 20 consistent years of coaching, he's never shown that he does well with young quarterbacks.
No, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I agree with that.
So I'd rather you get a veteran as opposed to a young guy. Even in Tampa, he had Josh Freeman. Tampa looked better when they had Jeff Garcia come in. Obviously, we know what he did with Rick Denny. So I wouldn't want a young quarterback. I'd much rather have a veteran with Gruden if that's the case.
But that's why, like, Darnold going into year 4 next year, year 3 or year 4, he's a veteran. He knows that he's got his way around the NFL. That's why that's why I'm saying
when I say veteran, I mean you're 2 years away from starting to get gray hairs. That's what I mean by veteran. I don't mean 4 or 5 years. I want you to be 8, 9 years in your. I want you to be enough of a veteran that you're going to cuss your head coach back out like Rich Gannon used to do when he yelling at you and say, "Hey, I fucking got it now. Shut the fuck up so I can run the play." That's the type of veteran I want. And if it's a young guy that could do that, kudos to him. But that's the type of veteran I want, because that's the type of player you need to be with Gruden.
Well, let's put this into some perspective now. And I'm not saying I'm not trying to run Carr out of town. Make this clear. This is just all hypothetical right now.
You don't pack his bags. You don't put his house up on eBay and on Craigslist, and you've already unfollowed him on social media.
Nah, I wouldn't do that to DC. Let's say the Raiders decide to make a change, and let's say the Jets have the worst record in the NFL. Rich, Trevor Lawrence is coming out. What did you take down? Lawrence and dump Darnold? I mean, you could at that point you're gonna take Lawrence and.
This goes back to the thing Kalani just said, though. If Adam Gase is still there, I don't care if you gave me Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers' brainchild. It's not going to freaking work with that guy staring, cross-eyed into the freaking television. You don't know what the hell he's talking about. Oh, my God, bro. I've never seen a man so confused.
Hey, Richie said, if Adam Gase is there, I don't give a damn what we do. No, you can give me Jesus and football pass. It ain't going to work.
Yeah.
Is Gase the first head coach fired this season?
I hope to God.
He needs to be. So far, if you look around the NFL, I would certainly say he's the first name that comes to mind. Matt Patricia is the second one.
I would agree.
That team has no grit. That Jets team has no grit. And the grit you did have, you just traded to the Northwest. So, you know what they need to do? You know how you fix this team? You bring back Rex Ryan. That's how you fix this team. Bring old Rexy back in.
No, I'm going to say a name He's not going to be flashy. He's not going to make you go, ooh, The guy has a winning record and a proven track record as an offensive coach, and that's David Caldwell, the former Colts and Lions head coach.
I think he would do well with a guy like
Jim
Caldwell.
Jim Caldwell. Excuse me. Yeah, Jim.
Look,
Caldwell.
I knew who you're talking about.
I was about to say, who the hell
Not
is
Dave
David
Caldwell. I'm thinking of somebody else. Yeah, but Jim Caldwell.
He would do well. I think he would do well with Sam Darnold. I think it's just one of those things where, Joe, you know, the New York team, the New York media, you're the Giants' little brother. It's like the Yankees and the Mets thing. You got to have that's what made them such a good team when they had Rex, was he brought fire into that team. He made them play for him. They played hard. They need a guy, whether it be the quarterback, the guy like they had with Jamal Adams. They need somebody in there on both sides of the ball, though, that can bring some grit to that team, because it's a New York team. They need that there. They need that. And I feel like they've missed that for a long time with a lot of dudes. I mean, but the problem is every time we get a guy like that, we let them walk, and then they bring.
Rex Ryan deserved a walk, bro. Like, let's be real. Rex deserved a walk. That wasn't
towards the end, yeah. No, towards the end, yeah. But I mean, just to get
Kalani's
something where
I'm done talking about the Jets.
It's Richie's team. What do you want me to do? I don't know why we're talking about the Jets. We live in Vegas, but it's Richie's team. He's got like 9 other teams we could talk about, but we're talking about the Jets. I know.
There's not much to talk about.
My bad. I forgot to hit mute. My bad.
There's not much to talk about. Sam Darnold's a pretty damn good football player. Their left tackle's not bad. And they need to get rid of Adam Gase. They need to get rid of Adam Gase.
No, honestly, but it goes to. But I can tie this in with the Raiders. That's why you have Gruden and you signed with that 10-year deal, because you got the guy that you're walking lockstep with that has a fantastic relationship with the owner. And if you've seen the video today from Lee Mayock, Mike Mayock's daughter, she tweeted out a video of after the game, Mayock and Gruden seeing each other, and they're walking up the field and they dap each other up, and Gruden pushes Mayock and he goes back and they push each other and they high five and they hug, and they're like, the relationship is there like this too. So because of that, you know, Jets don't have that.
Grit. No, but Gruden has grit.
It doesn't matter about. There's plenty. Matt LaFleur doesn't have grit.
Man?
Yeah,
what
like Matt LaFleur.
Some people you just connect with way better than others. Like, for whatever reason, there's some people that, like Joe said when he met what was it, Mark
Seidel. Yeah, we just hit it off.
Adam Gase
when
hides.
Joe met him, he hit it off with him right out the gate. I swear to God, Rick, if you bring up Adam Gase one more freaking time,
but he hides. Listen to me. Hold on. Wait a minute. He hides from his players. He hides from his players after the games. So, to me,
you see some of those players, I would hide from them too, as bad as they are. I don't want to see your ass. You might run some of that. That's why I suck, because you guys suck.
John Gruden ain't sending one of his assistant coaches in to address the team after a game, is my point. And that's what I mean by grit. Is you want me to be honest? You want to be honest?
Walk in with that big Super Bowl ring and still say, I tell you what, you may laugh. Till some of y'all get one of these, shut the fuck up. Because I'm here for another, 8 years? Are you? Knock on wood if you're with me.
My point is, you got to have some balls, not grit. There, balls. Those other coaches have some balls.
Okay, but
Adam Gase does not have any balls.
But here's,
man, he's a raw type guy. You know what I'm saying? He's a raw type guy, and he's got someone in Mike Mayock that's also kind of like that as well. He may not be as loud as Gruden is, but their personalities are very much in the same book on the same chapter. So for them, it's like, yeah, this is what we've been building for. We're excited to be here. All right, let's go. Because we know Mike Mayock, even though he may come off as mild-mannered, he ain't going back down.
No,
he ain't not at all.
He's feeling tough, bro.
Brings that energy, Mayock's going to return it. Some people just aren't like that, man. Like, could you imagine somebody walking up to Jerry Jones trying to fist bump him and push him and jump him? Jerry Jones look at you like, motherfucker, you are gone today. So that's just how it is.
Where's my hookers and blow at? You're going to do that, you better have some hookers.
Exactly. But then you throw in, when DK Metcalf is told by an assistant coach to take off his shirt, Pete Carroll gets up and says, oh, you ain't no bitch in me, takes off his shirt. You think Belichick is taking off his shirt? No. Some people just have that personality with others that when they meet them, they just connects.
We're going to draft you.
Yeah, but there's all those coaches you named are, in my eyes, all have good personalities and traits. And there's other coaches who I won't talk about that don't have those great personalities and traits. And there's a few of them across the NFL, personally, in my opinion.
Look at. I'll say this: Matt LaFleur doesn't have that personality that people would say is like way out there, but the guy is 15-3 as a head coach and hasn't lost a divisional game in the year and 2 games that he's been head coach of the Packers.
Yeah, Joe, but would you say he got respect from the team?
He earned it last year. I think Roger. He earned it from
Has
Roger.
that other guy earned any respect from his team?
No, but he had respect from Peyton Manning in Denver. And
then after that, he ran Ryan Tannehill out of town, and then Ryan Tannehill had the 4th best passer rating in NFL history.
But my point is this:
Ryan Tannehill didn't look like that in Miami, though. Like, let's be honest.
But that's what I'm saying, because Adam Gase was there.
Miami.
But Adam Gase was there.
But you gotta look at it. Miami, so Tennessee is using Tannehill much different than Miami was trying to use him, and how they're using him fits his skill set. That's what I'm talking about. What fits your skill set? What works for you? Just an example. Look at basketball, okay? There are players who can be superstars. Then there are players who can only be 6 men of the year. 6 men. Then there are guys who have to just be certain types of role players. Everybody fits in. I can't ask Lou Williams to be my number 1 guy. No, you're the 6th guy. I can't ask you to do this. If I need to ask you to hit a corner 3-pointer at the buzzer so we could go up 2-0 against this team, I need to make sure it's my second best player on the team that does it, that's 7 foot and can knock it down. I can't do that if I'm asking Caruso or Rondo or Morris to do it, but I can do that if I'm asking AD. And he brought the Lakers into the football conversation. Boom! 2-0, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
Hey, so the other thing is, I'm going to say a name that would fit the Jets perfectly, even though he won't take the job. No. I just want to say it's because you're talking about coaching, you're talking about a guy with swag, and Josh McDaniels. That would be the guy. That would be the guy, but he's not leaving New England.
And the Jets fans and players actually would respect him because they got the shit kicked out of him by him for the last 20 years.
You know what I mean? You know who needs a new head coach? Because these actions are unacceptable, especially with the talent you have. No. But with the talent you have, they do need to get a new coach. But no, seriously, in the NFL, the Falcons need to get a new head coach. You cannot have a Super Bowl meltdown and then that big of a meltdown again, especially when you have, say what you will about Matt Ryan, bottom top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Julio Jones only had 2 catches. Ridley,
ridiculous.
Gurley. Yeah, you got to get rid of Dan Quinn. You can't have meltdowns like that at this level, man. That is unacceptable, especially in like a short period of time. It's not like he's been coaching for 15 years and it's been like 8-year gap. No, this is within like the last 3 years. You can't have that. You
can't have the best wide receiver in football give me 4 fantasy points. It doesn't happen. It's not acceptable.
Can't do it. Can't win with it.
You know Julio's a friend of the franchise, right? No, that has nothing to do with me.
Awesome if Julio one day gets on, because
that's my boy, right?
If he was asked to do other positions, would he ever do it?
Yeah, he's TQ's cousin, first cousin. So yeah, that's what I mean. Friend of the franchise. I mean,
do you know what number 11 is on my list of jerseys?
Barry Larkin.
Number 11?
Julio. He's a Bama guy, man. Come on. It's my dude.
Well, Richie, how are we supposed to know, man? You root for Bama, Clemson, Duke, North Carolina, Florida State,
Auburn.
Michigan State, Penn State, Auburn, Texas, Oklahoma,
Jackson State.
Ohio State, Jackson State. Hell, you were telling me about South Dakota State one time. I was like, what the fuck?
He told me about Southwest New Mexico State.
He was telling me about
Ohio, Miami.
He was talking about North Texas Valley State. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah. Platteville, motherfucker.
The one you have no idea about is Middle Dakota.
Hey, okay, so like I know we bust Rich's balls about the down south East Coast thing, and he's great about it. But last week, it was the show I did with you guys last week. Rich called me and we were talking about it, and he goes, Joe, like, I got some news I need to tell you. And I'm like, yo, what is it? Like, we got to break it. And he's like, yeah. And we were like, we figured out we're going to break it. And I'm like, okay, let's break it. And we never did. And the news came out tonight. Rich, go ahead and break the news. Cause I don't know if Kalani's seen it. But go ahead and break the news. And I don't know if you guys see it, then it's crazy.
1 second. Just get this right real quick.
Oh wait, yeah, you do that. I'll be right back. I'll let y'all talk first. I'm gonna step away.
So, breaking news today in the NASCAR world: Michael Jordan, the GOAT, and Denny Hamlin.
Fuck out of here.
I knew it. I wanted to get you going, Kalani. I knew it. So, Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin have started a NASCAR Cup team. And like I told Joe, I had speculations of a while ago. They have picked their driver. And it is none other than one of the largest free agents on the market.
The biggest.
And probably a man that his fan base is going to triple very soon.
Quadruple. He becomes a global icon.
Bubba Wallace Jr. will be driving the car for Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin. So now there's, the logistical part of this, and then there's the other parts where NASCAR was super enthused to have Michael Jordan a part of it because he's been friends with Denny Hamlin for a long time.
11 years.
And they, Michael Jordan's actually going to be the majority owner in the car, and Denny will be the minority owner.
So it'll be a Jordan brand car, right?
I don't know if he's going to actually put.
Of course, Joe. Do you think it was going to be something else? What you thought it was going to be Snickers? What you thought Gatorade? No, it's going to be
Ballpark Franks
23. Ballpark, yeah. Haynes, Ballpark Franks, Gatorade, and McDonald's.
Listen, here's my thing, and all joking aside, Kalani, about it.
Okay.
I really want Michael Jordan to put the 23 on the car. I want to see Michael Jordan grand marshal a race. I want to see him come out and wave the flag. I want to see him on the pit box at Daytona and Charlotte. I want to see Michael Jordan in NASCAR like some of these other owners where his face is on TV a couple of times a year. Because I feel like that'll be one of the biggest things to help with all of this and make it where NASCAR can really expand. Because let's be honest, the Jordan thing, it's almost like a damn Supreme logo. And I was saying it earlier, you could slap it on stuff and people are going to buy it. So NASCAR's already gotten big all over the world. Now you're talking about a guy like Bubba Wallace and what he could bring to that with Jordan behind him, with Denny Hamlin behind him, and most likely it hasn't been released yet, but I'll say it now because it's probably what is going to happen. It'll probably be Toyota backing because of Denny Hamlin and his connections with Joe Gibbs Racing. And another reason why Jordan got into it was NASCAR is trying to bring in a lot of new owners. They want to diversify as well in a lot of ways. They're trying to bring people in from other countries, eventually move to other countries, bring in new manufacturers, Honda, Subaru, a whole bunch of different stuff, Audi. So them creating this next-gen car will actually make it easier for all these new owners to come in because it makes the cars a lot cheaper than these current-gen cars. So now with that being said, it made very easy decision for Michael Jordan. North Carolina guy. Grew up watching NASCAR with his family. His mother and father used to take him and his brothers and sisters to races. He's a North Carolina legend and a sports icon in all the ways we all know. So him teaming up with Denny, bringing on Bubba, the things that they could do are so exciting. It's unbelievable. You think about what if there is a Michael Jordan cement paint colored car running around Daytona with the Jordan logo on the front and a number 23, and Bubba Wallace wins the Daytona
Carolina
500.
blue, bro. He'll have that thing
Carolina blue. Carolina blue. But what I'm getting at is now, let's say Bubba Wallace wins a Daytona 500. Who's to say my old Mikey doesn't give Bubba a signature shoe?
Who says he's not going to get one ahead of time?
I'm saying he's probably going to get one either way, is my point. But what I'm getting at is
NASCAR driver to have a signature shoe.
Yes.
I kind of assume that, but I'm not as in the know with stuff like that with NASCAR, so that's why I was wondering. I kind of figured so, but I thought
Star, all these motocross and racing companies sponsor NASCAR. There is only one driver in NASCAR that has anything Jordan brand on him, and that's Denny Hamlin. He's the only one. So by Jordan expanding with having his own team, having this, there could be Jordan race shoes. There could be Bubba
Race
Wallace.
Jackets.
That's what I'm saying. Now there's Bubba Wallace signature shoe. There's a Bubba Wallace line. What if Nike jumps behind it and you start people seeing 23 with the Bubba Wallace signature? And I mean, the way that it could grow the sport is awesome. My favorite part about it is one of the things Michael Jordan said is the way NASCAR has acted this year and the events that have happened, the climate we're living in today. Michael Jordan jumped on it, him and Denny, and I knew for a little bit that they were trying to do this, and that's why he didn't re-sign with RPM, because he knew it was going to happen, which is Richard Petty Motorsports. But it's exciting to see it happen and see NASCAR changing, and then Michael Jordan reciprocating and coming into NASCAR and helping a driver and starting their own team. They're going to be their own thing. It's not like, oh, this is so-and-so's team or he's racing for this guy. He's raced for freaking Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin.
Now, you know what? In all seriousness, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to do whatever. This is huge. This is awesome. Congrats to Bubba Wallace. Congrats to Michael Jordan and to NASCAR. Despite what I've said about Jordan, one thing I can admit here on the show, in the last handful of years, whatever his reasonings may be, that's for like my other rant, but he has shown a more willingness to speak out on things that we wish he would have did in the 90s, to get involved, to donate, to help bring notice to certain causes. Kudos for him. And for him realizing, yes, there is a business stand to it. Yes, like you were pointing out, Rich, all the things that can happen under the Jordan brand with NASCAR. But for him to realize NASCAR is trying to go in this direction. And like we talked about before, they with the new commissioner or president, he wanted to make these changes, but he needed to wait till the older guys, older dogs moved on before he could make it. For Jordan to say, with my clout, with my name, with as much reach as I have, and with what you guys are doing, let's pair up, because it could be beneficial from both of us on many fronts, financial, of course, but also with us trying to help grow a sport in every aspect, because there's not a place you can go in the world. Michael Jordan is like Mike Tyson, Michael Jackson, and Muhammad Ali. Those are names that everyone knows all over the globe. So kudos to Michael Jordan for doing that. Shout out to Bubba Wallace, like it was mentioned before on the show, Rich. When he left Richard Petty, he was like, man, where's he going to go? This is interesting, etc. And lo and behold, look where he signed on. You know what's funny? And this isn't the rant. It's funny because when we started the show, I was like, why the hell is Richie wearing a bull pack? And then
there was a reason.
What came to my mind, I was like, did he really listen to Jay Williams talking about AD going to Chicago? I was like, disrespect.
No, I didn't.
But I wasn't going to let you rain on my Raiders and Lakers parade. But in my mind, I'm like, why is he? Did he not get a haircut? What the hell's going on? A bull, man? Right on. So congrats all around.
You're lucky that we went so long with football because Jaleesa doesn't come on and talk some basketball with you.
Oh no, that's fine. I mean, she would have got swept all over the floor with basketball talking. That was the case.
I doubt she's going to get swept all over the floor talking ball. Like, no way. No.
It would have got poured on the floor. I'd have brought the mop out and just.
Nah, you know what?
Look, I don't know if she's a Lakers fan as well. I do not know that, but
she is.
Okay, well, look, she's a Lakers fan. We would have been mopping the floor together then. It's fine. We would have just turned you upside down, Joe. Use your head and give it a good shine.
Hey.
Yeah,
Go
see?
ahead. So
yeah, congrats.
when when it comes to Bubba Wallace, when we were in the conversation like last week, I told Rich, I said, I think it'd be dope if Jordan started a brand like a race team and Bubba Wallace was, and he goes, "It's funny you say that." I was told, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I actually told TQ, and he goes, well, "How are y'all gonna break it?" And I was like, "Well, we're gonna probably do it on the show tomorrow, and then we may have something written up about it." And then I didn't do the show. You guys did the show, and I'm thinking you guys did it. And I'm like, and then he hit me when we had our meeting. He was just like, "Yo, like, did y'all talk about Bubba Wallace and Jordan Brand?" And I'm like, "I wasn't on the show that night. I had editing to do." He goes, "Oh," but in the grand scheme of things, this is huge because what this does for NASCAR, it diversifies it now. You have Brad Daughery, former Cleveland Cavalier, North Carolina Tar Heel, great center.
Yup.
He has his race team. He played with Jordan and Worthy on those D Smith and the D Smith title team. But I think what this does for Jordan is, and I agree with you, Rich. He would need to be at Daytona, in Charlotte, and I think even Talladega. Like you
just
go,
the big ones.
The big ones. You show up, and
you just gotta wave at the camera, bro. That's all you gotta do.
You wear your big old giant.
From where he's sitting, that reaches the track.
I thought it would be his hoop earring and his extra large jeans and everything. But
if they get him, like I said, they get to wave the flag at one race, call the start your engines at another, and drive the pace car at another,
and do an interview.
That's it. Do an interview after the race when they win on victory lane, or do an interview after a top 5 or something like that. Listen, that'll help so much. But the thing you talk about with diversifying. So now that Michael Jordan bought a team, Brad's been there. What doesn't stop other guys from starting a team? What doesn't stop LeBron from throwing his hand in here? What doesn't stop Shaquille O'Neal from throwing his hand in the ring? Because let me tell you what, Shaq could get the sponsors easy. He have this insurance, that donut come back.
Yeah, hey, and what's crazy is that we're talking about what Jordan needs to do. We talking about what Jordan needs to do. Shaq could be at some random damn race that don't nobody really be paying attention about. The North Dakota 50. Shaq is there talking about, "Can you dig it?" That's just his personality. So
and Shaq would be DJing it, bro. He would.
Yeah. But, there you go.
But this goes back to my thing, though. Again, about NASCAR doing the right stuff, of them making this next gen car cheaper for guys like Jordan and Denny, where it is possible now to start a team and it doesn't cost you $29 million, $30 million, $40 million to start a decent cup team. And that's hoping they don't wreck 6 cars through the year.
I think, at the end of the day, what it's going to do for Bubba Wallace, and you touched on it opens a fan base. Look, I'm a casual NASCAR fan. Okay, I know Petty and Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace, and then that next generation of Gordon, Johnson, Earnhardt Jr.
I'd say, don't you dare leave Johnson.
Nah, I mean, dude, like, come on. But like, look, my daughter was 11 months old, maybe barely a year, and I was watching Daytona when Dale Jr. won and Dale Sr. died. And I remember the accident, and I was like, "Oh, that ain't that bad. Like, I've seen worse."
Everybody said that was a NASCAR fan. He's fine.
And it was like, what? And I actually did it. I mean, like, damn, that sucks. And at that point, I became a Junior fan. Like this is the guy I'm gonna root for. Just
Yeah.
And I continued to root for him through the whole process, and wasn't a big Jeff Gordon fan. He seemed like an arrogant prick, but I don't know him. But this is what it came off as being. I didn't like the rainbow shit that he would wear. I was like, why are you wearing a rainbow? Why are you wearing like Skittles, homie? Like, I don't get it. Like
Skittles taste the rainbow, duh.
My bad.
Who doesn't like Skittles?
But then as I got older, I kind of understood, and I started to really get into NASCAR a little bit more. Like, I was like, oh, then I went to a race. I went to the Fontana race, and I had a ball. My mom lives like 5 minutes from there, right? I had a ball there. But then after Junior retired, it was like, okay, like, I don't really care who. I don't care about any of these drivers now. Like, Joey Logano, well, whatever. Smoke, whatever. Tony Stewart. But then, like, there was Bubba Wallace, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep an eye on this dude. And then everything that happened this year, I felt compelled to, like, yo, this is the dude I'm gonna root for. But now, as a casual fan, like, yeah, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna have more of an interest, and I'm going to, I remember back in the day, like, having a race car track jacket. That was like kind of like a fashion thing. I would probably get one, if it looked cool. You know what I'm saying? But he's gonna have a ton of more fans. I mean, he's gonna have a coalition of fans now, where when you look up at a track, you can be like, damn, this place is mighty different than what it was years ago, Earl. Because, but I'm just saying, Earl, mighty different.
Hey, I'm sorry, but the way you said it with that accent. Hey, you know who popped in my head? You guys seen Deadpool 2 where Cable lands in today's times, and that's Matt Damon and Those are the two guys I picked you saying it when you said
yes.
it.
Yes. Yes.
I need this truck.
But that's what when you said it. That's why I busted out so loud, because I saw them saying it.
Like, Earl, I don't.
Shit. My eyes are watery, bro.
Oh my God! Like, Earl, I reckon I ain't seen nothing like this here at Talladega like this now. It's like, this ain't our daddy's NASCAR no more.
Hey, Earl, is there like a summer jam going on that we didn't know?
Earl, do they got a James Brown concert going on over here? Oh.
Hey, you know what the funny part is, and this is on top. It's funny because I've known a couple guys who I said,
True. No, I'm just kidding.
You are not No, you're a racist, but you're not racist. Like, you just didn't grow up around a lot of people of color. So for you don't hate them. It's just your thought is literally, I thought all y'all was named Jerome and like Kool-Aid, so I made some Kool-Aid for you. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's just funny because I can hear them saying that, Earl, I don't mind the colors, but this is quite a few of them. I don't mind. Look, I have no hate in my heart. Jesus loves me. Amen.
And then,
make sure you got your wallet.
And then it's like, and then it fast forwards to 6 months later. It's like, Earl, I bet she got that WAP. You hear that new Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion? Woo, boy, I tell you.
As you look over, and Earl's got his Bubba Wallace hat on, and he's like, I bet you the fuck she does.
They both wearing Jordan fits.
Matching Jordan jumpsuits.
Oh man! Oh, that's too funny. That's too
you
funny.
Left, though. I was joking around about this earlier, and I said, you know what? Because listen, Bubba got some hate the other day at one of the races. People were giving him shit, but I laughed because of what we're talking about, and it is funny because to me, it's these old Southern
gentlemen,
diehard fans like Kalani's talking about. But like Joe's talking about, you know what? Somebody else might not feel comfortable coming to the races anymore.
I'm telling you, man.
Listen, I'm not. No, and what I mean by that is the fact of, you know what? You want to act like it's your sport, is my point. It's not. It's not the South sport. I know you guys created it. That's cool. Basketball is made in fucking Canada. That doesn't mean the Canadians own basketball. In my mind, we own basketball. Until anybody else takes that shit from us, it's our sport. It's like baseball.
They never will.
You know what I mean, though? But what I'm saying is a lot of people act like that, like it's their sport and they make the rules and all this other stuff. It's not. Mm-hmm. And seeing the things that are happening, there's nothing more I would love to see than to go back to Charlotte Motor Speedway, where I've been a bunch, And Charlotte's a bad example because Charlotte's a really
shitty track.
No, Charlotte's actually a really good track. I like Charlotte. It's good racing there. But no. Charlotte's a very different area. Like, it's diverse. You got the very, very, very wealthy. White. You got the very, very wealthy, and then you've got the guys showing up in their their old Silverados and getting out with their coolers and hiding their shotguns under their seats.
Oh, they know how to shotgun, man. It's right there in the back window, and they getting out. And it's
well, no, they don't want to get it stolen while they're watching the race.
Yeah, they cleaning it.
Take it off the window this week. Another racing. We can't have we can't have Lucille taken now.
Hey, now you better watch it because you know them jigaboos. They be clean. I can't say that. Okay, my bad.
Well, no, you're the only one that can. Yeah,
he's going over the top now.
Hey, on this show right now.
Earl, these moon crickets start coming over here. We're gonna have to watch ourselves now, okay? Hey, make sure you don't put the night. Watch. Make sure your rims is good when you get back to the car, okay? They like rims. Damn, did I leave it? Oh, you know what? Hey, man, have y'all tried Subway's new BLT Italian melt? It's delicious, man.
I'm crying, bro, because, listen, Kalani, I lived in the South for like 11 years. I've been to NASCAR races in Bristol, Charlotte, Martinsville, Virginia. I have so many friends that work in the sport, and I have a lot of friends that are like deep Southern dudes and chicks and all that. And, bro, it's so funny, though, because like I said, it's one of those things where everybody thinks it's the South sport, and I really want to see it excel because.
But yeah,
I want to be sitting behind the guys having those conversations.
Hey, Kalani,
it's Southern sport, but didn't like a couple of the drivers who dominated for decades, weren't they from like California or something? So for a Southern sport, you guys had a whole bunch of Yankees out there running amok over you guys.
Like Kalani, since you've never been to a race, right? I'm just going to show you the example of a NASCAR race. I can't do it loud because I got Jaleesa sleeping. Gentlemen, start your engines. All right, yeah, woo, woo.
This is Talladega he's watching, by the way. Just and Dale Earnhardt Jr. takes the lead coming back into one, and here he comes around two. Coming around out of the corner, Kyle Busch giving him a push.
Give me a beer. All right.
Comes into 3 and 4, comes around, Kyle Busch still giving him a good push.
Hey, I need you to light me my cigarette.
Cross start finish line.
Like literally, that's what it is. You literally scream for 3 to 5 seconds when they pass you, and then you're quiet. And then you're kind of like watching everything go around you. You're getting this hammered or whatever you partake in doing. It comes back and you're screaming again, and you're just like, yeah.
Well, from what I've always been told is that it's all that, especially if you had a race where it's like 400 or 500 laps. But they say, man, them parties that go on in to kill time. That's what I would love to enjoy. Would be that I'm not gonna be sitting there watching 500 laps of like an old boy said they're making a left turn.
Listen to me. No, I'm gonna tell you something. I've been to basketball game tailgates. I've been to football game tailgates. A couple of them. Been a lot of baseball tailgates. Been to a lot of NASCAR tailgates. Ain't nobody tailgate like them boys down south. I'm gonna tell you that now. Listen to me, Earl. When Earl brings out the Traeger. And he gets the Traeger rolling. He puts these sausages on there that my cousin gets. They're straight deer venison. He makes them himself. He shot this deer with a .22 rifle right in between the eyes because he wanted to keep the head. But it was best eating I've ever had this side of the Mississippi. I swear to God, I did.
Look here, Cleophas. Let me tell you, Cleophas. Okay.
The sad part is I don't have to go hard for that accent because I lived there so long.
Cleophas,
it doesn't sound far.
NASCAR tailgating is very, very good, no doubt, Cleophas. But let me tell you, ain't nothing like college football tailgating down south. Now. College football tailgating down south ain't nothing like that.
Now let me tell you.
No, I actually
come
did
on down to
college.
college football tailgate. I'll tell you what, we know how to throw down because what we do is, and don't tell nobody this, but see, at NASCAR, it's only white people cooking. But when we do college football, we get some of them colors to come on over, put some of that seasoning on it. Boy, it be some fire. We get some barbecue sauce, and we be going. And then look, I can't admit it because the missus don't be liking it, but some of them girls be walking around with them thick thighs and them hips and that back. And
I just want to butter her biscuit.
Hey, I just want to let you know, girl. I just want to let her know I got some butter for your grits.
She said something about paprika. I've never heard of it.
I thought that was her sister.
No, that's her stripper name.
No,
I did actually get to.
It'd be a lot of fun. It'd be a lot of fun, man. I definitely can't wait for things to get back to normal to check it out and everything. But no, in all seriousness, moves like that help you continue your growth and go into the next level. And it also shows that you don't want to be stuck in your ways. And in some of these other sports we're watching, I'm not talking about from a social justice standpoint. I just wish some of them would have some of that same thinking when it comes to changes that you could have within your league or organization, just because, as we've seen through history, times do and will change. Yep. Will they happen when you're at the helm? That remains to be seen.
What I seen today, and I just seen it briefly because I was just so focused on the Raider game and the Allegiant Stadium opening up, and I was actually on the phone doing some work actually for the company. Major League Baseball, they are giving. I don't know if it's the Negro League Museum or the RBI program, but it's to help youth baseball $10 million to revitalize it in inner city. So I think it's the RBI program that's going to get the money. I may be mistaken, but Major League Baseball is they want to advance where they're at, which they need to.
That's cool, man. Now we get to see 14-year-olds play 12-year-olds and beat the shit out of them. Cool.
No, we've been seeing that for years. We've seen that.
Yeah. Oh. Well, I don't know. Yep.
The only thing is, I know, Kalani, I'm gonna save you. I got you. The only thing is, they need to start bringing some more of these kids that they draft from other countries at very young ages over here, so they can play. At a younger age, I think too.
Right now in today's climate, that might be a little tricky, man. There's a little, I don't know if you heard the news, but there's some things that you probably don't want to be involved with young kids right now and traveling to different countries and for profit. You don't want to be caught up in that particular. No. You understand? No. We got them uniforms and they're going to play and they're going to compete all day. That don't sound right. No. It's a sport. No. Yeah. You don't want to be involved in that right now.
They're going to get paid, but not a lot at first.
Exactly. We pay them, just not a whole lot. We get the majority of the profit, but they do all the work. Damn it, that doesn't sound right. You know what? When they're 18, we'll do it. We'll wait till they're 18.
Looking off the rails, dude.
Hey, Joe, when you let this show go too long, man, you see what happened.
We're actually delirious. Yeah, but no, with that, it is something that I think they're turning the corner. Same thing with, just like in NASCAR, and good for Major League Baseball. They need to do that. They need to make it younger, and they need to diversify.
I'd like to see the NHL do something.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing hockey do the same thing.
NASCAR's doing something. We consider the NHL a major sport, right? Why can't we start considering NASCAR a major sport?
Because some people don't consider it a sport.
Exactly. And then it's also
I don't consider golf a damn sport. So
it's also hard for individual sports to be like that because that seems more so like even with golf. Like no, you find a way to get that for you. That's not like a team thing for in most people's eyes. So it feels a little different.
But there's a team when you got a crew chief, pit guys, engineers.
No, I know that, but it's still like the one person performing. You know what I'm saying? Just like in golf, you got your caddy, your head coach, this and that. Just like in tennis, you got the people working.
I got to try and make NASCAR a sport on the main level, so everybody views it that way, so that I could cover more.
Well, here's the thing. To me, a sport it's a sport because the amount of physical strain the driver's body goes through, even though it's just making a left turn, so to speak. Going that, you got to have some type of skill to control your car going over 200 miles an hour.
Your body. They
Right.
put body heartbeat monitors on these guys, and their heartbeats are 140 beats per minute riding around at 200 miles an hour.
Right, and you look at something like people say cheerleading is a sport. No, cheerleading is a competition. Same thing with gymnastics. That's not saying they're not because to me, anything a sport is when you have the ability to dictate the outcome, the final outcome. So boxing, they don't know. You have the ability to knock somebody out. That, if you have somebody solely judging, it comes down to the judges' cards. It's a competition because it's somebody else's opinion. You could go out there and bust your ass and smokes everybody, and they could say, "Oh no, you got a 9.9. Oh well, this guy we like better. He gets a 10. They win." Where in the sport, if you can control the outcome, that to me that's what makes it a sport. But that's just my opinion. But to me, NASCAR is, golf is, gymnastics. Not really. It's fun to watch. Olympics is fun to watch, but last thing real quick, Kalani, you touched on it briefly. Lakers, AD hit the shot yesterday. Yelled out Kobe afterwards. I thought it was a gritty win. That's a gritty win for the Lakers. I think we used grit a lot tonight. They played really sloppy in the second half. I mean, even all the turnovers. I think they had 13 first half turnovers. They had like 20 something in the game.
I thought the Nuggets were going to win that game, man.
I got nervous.
I thought the Lakers gave it away.
But I tell you what, Anthony Davis had his Laker icon moment yesterday.
Yep.
That was it.
I don't know if that was necessarily just his Laker icon moment, Joe, as much as that was his Anthony Davis moment. Like his big, because I mean, he's never done that in the playoffs. He's never had a big shot like that. That was his big Laker moment, big Anthony Davis moment, his NBA, like, hey, look at me, I'm here, I'm that guy.
I can see that. What do you got, Kalani? Anything? Lakers?
I feel like that. I agree with you guys. I was trying to remember. I was like, wait, didn't he hit a game-winning shot with the Pelicans? But I couldn't. Like, I'm picturing it, but I just couldn't see it. But it was a tremendous moment. And look, they did play sloppy, but you also got to give credit to the Nuggets. They've shown in 2 other series that they didn't get the memo. They didn't get the memo that they're not supposed to be here. So they are going to play rough, scrappy. Murray was having a good game. Jokic was doing his thing. We see it in all aspects of every sport. Sometimes, man, momentum swifts. You can't hit the red side of a barn, and then the other team can't miss the hoop looks like a lake or an ocean. So sometimes that just happens. And when I saw the Nuggets, they were going on a run, and it definitely looked like, okay, here we go. What I liked is, and it's kind of like what I said about the Raiders, the Lakers showed enough tenacity to not get flustered, to not let giving up that lead get to them, to say, okay, we're in a freaking fight. Let's tie our shoes, bite down the mouthpiece, and let's fight back. And they were able to do so. So I was very happy to see them doing that. And this goes to why during the season, LeBron deflected to Anthony Davis so much, especially in the second quarter or in the fourth quarter, because he needed AD to be prepared for moments like this in the postseason. He needed him to be willing and able to step up if he couldn't in the postseason where it mattered the most. So, hey, you got to have that vision. You got to have that long-term vision for overall success. So right on for that, and kudos. It was a tremendous win. Very, very, very quick story. I forgot that the game was on yesterday. Because it was football and everything that was going on with that. Then I honestly just forgot. So I was working. I got home, and as I was on my way home, I was talking to a friend, and he mentioned it. I said, "What? The game?" So I heard we got home. Richie, Joe, I promise you, it was a conspiracy. The game was over. He told me, "I'm not going to tell you what happened. Just watch the highlights." I turned ESPN. Commercials. I turn to ESPN2, it's exports. I turn to Inside the NBA, commercials. I turn to Fox Sports 1, freaking NASCAR or whatever. It took me 10 minutes to finally get to the Lakers highlights before I could see what the hell happened. Longest 10 minutes I've had in my life.
Well,
but I'm happy I went.
Okay, so the next time that happens, Just go to YouTube and type in Lakers.
Nah, man,
Lakers.
I don't like that because it'd be too many videos on there. Well, they'll put the template that this is it, and then there'll be some
Have him hitting the
joker.
shot.
Yeah, and then it'll be, and then when you click on it, it's 3 jokers sitting down talking about it overnight, talking about, hey guys, what's going on? This guy like
NBA
17. Huh?
The NBA one that we use at franchise. That one, they have complete highlights. It's nobody talking. It's literally.
I didn't see a video last night for us.
Oh yeah, it's on there. When you open up,
I didn't see it last night, so my apologies and my apologies for that and whatnot. But I didn't see it last night, and maybe that's just me not doing it right. But yeah, man, I was. But again, the anticipation was killing me. But I was happy I saw it, and looking forward to seeing how we perform in Game 3.
Yeah, Lakers Game 3 Tuesday at 6:00. TNT. Yep. It's going to be, I think it's critical the Lakers win this game because you don't want to give them a game. So if you do win, you're 3-1, and that's right where Denver wants you. 3-0, a little bit different. And I want to see them go back to grilling out that barbecue chicken. AD, one of the things that, and I'm going to credit Charles Barkley for this. He was first of all, Charles looked like he was hammered last night on the TNT app. He was slurring my words and AD. I don't understand it. Like you, how can you go for 37 and only have 11, first half points? And he was kind of grilling him. And when AD came on and they interviewed him, he legitimately asked him. He said, why is it that sometimes it looks like you're so passive and you're not aggressive when they can't guard you, especially when you're playing the 5? And to his credit, AD answered it, and he goes, sometimes I get in my own head, and I want to, I go into the game thinking these are the moves, and then he goes and I give credit to Charles Barkley for asking him that question, but at the end of the day, I think it's very likely the Lakers are going to come out tomorrow and play like they did in Game 1. They're going to play aggressive. They're going to play inspired basketball, and I think AD is going to really go out there and really try to do a number on Jokic because they were killing the Lakers bench was killing them yesterday, calling them turkey dinner, Thanksgiving dinner, filet mignon, Dom Perignon, because he was not playing defense and he can't handle AD.
Well, what? I mean, I'm not going to blame him for that, man. There's not really a whole lot of guys in the NBA who can't handle AD. And excuse me. And for some, look, it also goes to show it's hard to have that mentality that every night I got to be a killer. It's hard to have that mentality, man. It's very difficult. I see it with fighters all the time. Even for guys who have tremendous power, at some point, majority of them become one-punch hitters. They only look for the one shot just because they know that. Even though if I set up the jab, circle right, go to body, I could land that shot a lot better. Nope, I got this right hand, left hand, whatever. I'm just going to look for this overhand right or whatever. For basketball players, same thing. It's like you're good, but it's hard every single night to go out there and say, I'm going to drop 40 on you. Especially for some guys who can do it in a multitude of ways like Anthony Davis. So you almost feel like I can get hot at any given moment. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I don't have a good first quarter, but I hit 2 jumpers in a second. I get it rolling. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. So it's hard to do that. Hence why, and I'm not trying to go on any rant here, but why we need to do a better job in appreciating the guys we do see go out there with those type of performance night in and night out and do have that because it's not something that's easy to have. It's not an easy mentality to carry. Look at guys like, for example, look at guys like Kobe, Jordan, Bird, Magic. You look at a lot of guys who have that killer mentality. They're not the most friendliest of people. So it's not easy, especially if your personality is, I want to be friendly. It's not easy to go out there and try to rip somebody's soul out night in and night out.
No, and Barkley said that. He said Kobe and Michael will just kill you. They'll kill you to win. They don't care. He was like, I want to, and he said, I want to see that out of AD, who, to his credit, said during the regular season he prefers to play the 4 because it saves him. He feels like it would save him, but he knows playing the 5 in the postseason, he's unstoppable. So I think tomorrow you're going to see more of him at the 5 and Kuzma at the 4. And the Lakers kind of got discombobulated in the game too. They kind of let the Nuggets in the third quarter get in their head. So I'm looking forward to the game. And I'll tell you what, yesterday was one of those days, a lot like you guys talked about the other day. There was football on all day. Then if you like baseball, you had Dodgers. You can go catch a Dodger game or whatever's on MLB Network that day, whatever regional. And then Sunday night baseball. And then you flip on Sunday night football, the Lakers. Like literally, I caught the last quarter of Sunday night football because I was watching a Laker game. Like that's more important to me. And then I think hockey was on last night too. So
tonight
tonight.
Tonight was the first night.
So
and actually, to add what you guys were talking about real quick about the Lakers thing, I think a big thing with AD hitting that shot more than anything was by him doing that, it's going to make it a lot harder for teams on who you got to key up on because LeBron can hit those shots too. So by AD having this breakout game, let's say, it makes it easier where in these next couple of games, you can have it where LeBron takes over. AD, it makes it real hard for another team to key up on a guy when now it's not just, okay, you have to stop LeBron and just worry if AD's getting hot. No, now you got to worry about both of them real big.
Well, AD had 37 in game 1, 37-14.
Well, no. I just mean,
what I'm saying? Like
his the provenness in the playoffs is more I'm saying. Not that he hasn't done well in the playoffs, but to advance, each round, mentally it's a little different to think about it, especially wearing that purple and gold and 2020 and Bubble Kobe, all that kind of stuff.
I'm being serious when I ask this. Did the Celtics and Heat play tonight? Because if they did, I didn't see it.
No, tomorrow.
No. Tonight there was no basketball. They, if I'm not mistaken, I think they were trying to do no basketball so that the Western Conference can catch up to the Eastern Conference as far as their game. So the scheduling hopefully works out. Yeah, but when one game goes 7 and the other one goes, 4 or 5, the scheduling is going to be off a little bit.
It was like a week off.
Yeah. So they were trying to help that out. They were trying to help that out.
That's been another really good series too. That Boston-Miami series has been really good. Two very well-matched teams.
Your two favorite teams.
Oh no, we knew that we knew those two teams going at it, that was going to be a slobber knocker. That was going to be a backdoor alley fight, that they were going to go at it with each other. And just real quick on the Lakers and Nuggets, I think it's a different, the Nuggets are obviously tough and they can't come back, but I think the Lakers are just built differently. Like, their mission from when they were put together till now is the championship. It wasn't to beat the Clippers. It wasn't to beat the Bucks. Put whoever's in front of us in the postseason and in the finals, we gonna beat them. And I think when you have that type of mentality, and that's no disrespect to the Jazz or to the Clippers, talented team, but they're not used to closing out as a team. Whereas you got the Lakers, Rondo's got that championship experience. Dwight Howard might be on his last leg for a championship experience. He doesn't play a lot. I get it. JaVale McGee's got championship experience. Danny Green's got championship experience. LeBron, obviously, we don't need to give his credentials. So it's like this particular team has guys on there who have been to the mountaintop already. So for them, they're like, no. We're not going to get cocky after the third win, thinking we won this, especially seeing what you guys have done. If we got our foot on your throat, we're going to step on it. Granted, the Nuggets are going to keep fighting it off as much as they can to their credit. But the Lakers, I feel, are built a little bit different where I do see them putting this series away. In how many games, that remains to be seen. But I see them hanging tough. But, hey, that don't mean the Nuggets ain't going to give them a scare.
And I think the Nuggets are 2 years out.
I think they're in the middle of the window. I'm going to be honest because I know Jokic just signed a deal, but Murray's got to sign a deal. Porter Jr., I think he wants out already. He already has made, talk kind of slick to the media about his head coach and him not getting enough touches during that Clipper series.
He can come to New York, pair him up with RJ Barrett.
Yeah. See what happens when he wants to get out of there. When he's like, yeah, they're dysfunction. Let me get the hell out of here.
He'd be in New York 15 minutes and be like, what did I do?
Yeah. Hopefully, Porter and them can work it out because I really like him as a third option for that particular team. He really fits what they can do, and his skill set doesn't allow him to be like this ball dominant type guy where like, oh no, I got to dribble 20 seconds off the clock before I get my shot off. So hopefully he and the coaching staff can work it out where he stays there because look, as much as I love players moving around, I also love seeing teams like this being built up, and I would love to see them together for X amount of years just to see what they could be. I would love to have seen OKC together for 2 more years just to see what they could have done together. But I also understand when you're together that long, at some point you got to move on.
Same.
I agree with you when you talked about the Lakers being built differently mentally. Their mentality is championship or bust. They're a different team mentally. I think other teams would have folded, especially when Jokic scored 11 straight points to close out the game. I mean, the 3 was great, but he had the 2 shots before it. The one was a jumper over, I think, AD with his hand in his face. Yeah. It was a rainbow shot that was nothing but net. And then the shot that Murray was shot at 3 missing, and he happened to like tip it in over his head, like
over LeBron.
Over LeBron. I was just like, damn, like don't tell me they're gonna do this. Not tonight. Like Lakers were up by a dub at one point or 14 or something like that. Like, come on. On the flip side, if it was the Clippers or anybody else, Kalani, you're right. I think that they would have tucked their nuts and ran away. The Lakers were like, nah, fuck that. You know, like, no, we're the Lakers. We're not going to go out like that. And the cool part, after the game was over, I retweeted it, but Frank Vogel, in his speech, was like, that's a hell of a game. Now there's an old-fashioned knockdown, drag-out Western Conference Finals game. Those are the games you have to have your Mamba mentality. And we showed ours today. And they broke by saying Mamba. I think the Lakers do feel that with his passing, Kobe's passing is still heavy on their hearts and it weighs on them. And they're playing for a bigger purpose than even winning number 17. So tomorrow night's game is going to be an interesting game. I want to see LeBron continue to be dominant and aggressive early because I think it opens everything up, and I think it opens AD up. And now it's who you're going to stop for the last shot. Is it going to be LeBron or is it going to be AD? The best 1-2 combo in the NBA. That's what Denver has to do, and Denver doesn't have the horses to stop them. Like they're just LA and Rondo. I'll tell you what, Rondo's presence looms huge in this series. He's been legitimately the Lakers' third best player, and since last year,
real, y'all better look back at them history. Playoff Rondo's real.
Let me ask you a question really quick, and I want to know this because I personally can't think of any, but you guys might know of older players because I know you're like, you know the older guys a little better than I do. But
what are you trying to say? I'm old.
I was talking to Kalani. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm just kidding. He's saying Joe is old and I didn't have no life as a kid.
Oh, shit.
Who, if Rondo wins a chip,
he's the only one on both Lakers and Celtics.
For Lakers and Celtics?
He'll be the first one in the history of the Lakers.
That'd be pretty freaking cool, man. That'd be pretty cool.
Last year at Media Day, he said that. They said, who's won a championship with both teams? And he goes, nobody has it. I'll be the only one. I looked that up. That's part of the reason why I wanted to come here. Because I'll be the first player and the only player in NBA history to win it with the Celtics and the Lakers.
That'd be really cool. I ain't going to lie to you. He does it for both teams. I would totally get one of those jerseys where they cut it in half. Piss everybody off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just straight instigators.
I'm Switzerland. I'm Switzerland. I'm the safe zone. I'm the safe zone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That would be pretty cool. I was trying to think how many guys have played for both teams. I know Shaq did, and I was trying to think. Yeah, that's right. Rick Fox is out because he started with them, but it's not a whole lot of guys who.
You go earlier than that. They hated each other too much to play for the other team.
Yeah, well, there's that, but then you also got to look at it too. There was also that point where, at that point, you'd stay with the team for 8, 9, 10 years. So by the time you were finally going to move on, I mean, you were broken down and old. The other teams didn't want you. You got to go to the Kings or the Hawks or something, or the Knicks.
Wasn't Travis Knight on both teams?
I know he played for the Knicks.
I know he played for the Lakers.
Yeah, I can't remember if he played for Boston, but he certainly might have. That does sound like something that happened.
Avery Bradley.
Yeah, we'd have to look
Avery
that up.
Avery Bradley would be another.
He didn't win a chip though, obviously.
So yeah,
but he played.
That's yeah, but I knew you were going with that before you were saying it. Like yeah, because Rondo, he made that clear at the media day. Rondo, he does all the little things, and what I like is he brings out the dog in AD. Like if AD was always kind of a mild mannered, like, but then the last 2 or 3 games, Rondo's in his ear, and AD is talking shit, looking at the Nuggets bench like, this is my fucking court. Get the fuck out of here. I was just like,
but guys like that are important.
AD said it. He said, Doe told me to go get 50. Then after I had like 6 in the first, he's like, okay, not 50, maybe 30.
Yeah, 35. Yeah,
maybe 35. So yeah, see, once again, that's having a because he's one of the smartest guys, but that's having that veteran championship leadership on the team that knows how to kind of poke and prod at other greatness. Kind of like he didn't play a big role for the Lakers, but Kobe credited Ron Harper for being a big mentor to him off the bench, especially when Kobe was injured and he really got to sit there and talk with them and everything. That type of stuff, man, it's so impeccable and it's so valuable to your team. And I know maybe a lot of those guys who do it, they don't bring a lot as far as stats, but what they can do with helping your young players or your star players reach that next level. I know Vince Carter talked about it a lot. I really wish he would have been someplace else, but you can also admire the fact that, okay, let's see what some of these young guys do with it. We're seeing what AD is doing with it. And it's going to be fun to continue to watch.
I think a lot of those guys too, really quick, are important. Your Rondo kind of guys. Like I saw that with, and I'm not jumping real quick, but the Yankees this year, not having that guy like, and Joe knows what I'm talking about, like CC Sabathia, that dude that's going to jump up on the top of the dugout and bark for you. And my man's been thrown out of more games than he's pitched in. Sitting on the bench, straight up. Yeah. But having a guy like that where it scares me for when Gardner leaves the team of who's going to be that guy. And a guy like that, an old guy, veteran, both of them, Gardner and CC, both won championships in 2009. But exactly what Kalani's talking about, having that veteran championship dog kind of guy that's going to rile you up and get you guys into the mode when you think you're out of it is the perfect guy. Or even when you're in it, to get you riled up to make you score more.
To keep it there, yes, to raise it to that next level. When you think you're tired, no, brother, you got more in you.
Oh, you think you score 30? I think you get 45 personally. I think you're better than that. What do you think you're doing?
I'm just saying, they over here chuckling like 30, that's all you can get. What you gonna do?
If I was in your body, I'd put up 62 tonight.
I'm just saying, man.
I'd have 84 just because.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Kobe, that's a story about Kobe. 3 reporters, I'm not going to say names because I don't want to catch shit. We're sitting around after a couple games after the 81 game. And they're talking about who the MVP was that year. And one of them was like, it's Kobe. The other one was like, I don't know, Nash seems to be the guy in playoffs and the way that he's playing. And the other one was kind of on the fence, like, I don't know. And he walked by, and the one reporter goes, "Hey, Kobe, such and such says that Nash is the MVP, even after you're 81." He goes, "Fuck, I can score 81 anytime I want to." And he goes, he don't have to have fucking Smush Parker and Kwame Brown on his fucking team either. Just keep that in mind about your MVP. And I was like,
Smush.
So fucked up, man, because I kind of like Smush Parker a little bit. Not on the Lakers, but I kind of like him a little bit. But I understand.
But my question I was going to ask was, what was a bigger shot, AD shot, or the Vlade mistaken tip to Robert Horry, and when Horry hit the 3, and the Lakers ended up going to the NBA Finals and winning it?
That's why we can't have nice things. We have to compare stuff.
No. I'm just asking. What do you think of?
They're both great shots, Joe. They're both great. Obviously, the answer would be the shot that sent you to the finals, but they're both great shots. It's just like Steve Kerr's, I believe it was game 1 or game 2 shot that he made against the Jazz. That's a great shot. You know, you're not going to compare that to a John Paxson game 5, game 6 clinching shot, but it's great moments that as highlights go on, that's going to be one of them. It was a great shot. And I get what you're saying, Joe, and I understand for the sake of the show, hey, let's debate, let's talk. I'm just saying, for me, it's like it was still a great performance because I feel like if you do one or the other, then, and maybe not just among us, but I feel like people then look at the other performance that they don't agree with as not being as good. Like, hey, what was more impressive, this performance or that one? And it's like, well, they both were great. So can we just appreciate them for what they were?
Who's more a bigger shot for their career? Not better.
I mean, look, he's talking big shot Rob for a reason. Yeah, you know,
that's AD's first real big time clutch game winning. I mean, they were down by 1 and he hit a 3. He didn't need a 3, he still hit it. Where Robert Horry
got like 7.
Yeah, he's hit big shot after 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 big shot.
Yeah, but I mean, so shouldn't that make AD's 1 mean more because it's one big one for him?
No, because
each shot is difficult, and then you got to think on that particular tip. That wasn't even a play. That's Kobe going in, it misses, and it gets tipped out. The concentration you have to grab it, shoot it. Oh, no, you got Chris Webber jumping at you as well.
Yeah, it was Kobe missed the layup, and then Shaq got it and missed it, and Vlade was just trying to tip the ball out because he wanted to get it away from Shaq.
Which you thought it would have been smart.
It would have been, but Robert Horry happened to be right there at the top of the key, caught it in rhythm, and drained it. Kalani, I agree with you that there's no really comparing the two. I'm not saying like one, and I'm not trying to say one shot is means less than the other. What I'm saying is, when it comes to winning titles, and let's just say hypothetically, the Lakers win the title this year, that's going to be the shot the same way when the Lakers win the title that year. The Robert Horry shot is the defining moment. Like, okay, we go, Nick. Like it's like we're now on the train track. No one's gonna stop us. We're gonna run through everybody. But if you watch Spectrum Sports or the Lakers channel, they're gonna have big shot in Laker history, and you're gonna have Magic's hook shot. You're gonna have Horry's shot. You're gonna have AD's shot. You're gonna have Kobe's shot against multiple Kobe shots.
Derek Fisher shot over the Spurs.
Derek Fisher, 0.4. You're gonna have a bunch of shots. This is one of those shots that's gonna be on there, and it's gonna rank very high because of the pressure situation it was in. Is it bigger than Fisher's shot?
But when you named all those shots, you know what it's going to be? It's just going to be added to the collection. We're not going to say it was bigger than this. We could go over the difficulties of shots. Fisher was probably the most difficult because it's 0.4 seconds left. I mean, literally, you have to catch it and throw it. But it's just going to be added to the list. And as time has gone on, as you named with all of those, we don't really rank those. We just name them. Like, hey, remember all these big shots for the Lakers? Oh, Magic hook shot, Fisher this, or Kobe's that. It just becomes part of the memory. It's not like 1, 2, 7. It's not. So for this one, because it's brand new in our minds, it might be high. But I think as time just goes on, it just becomes part of the highlight reel, part of what we say for Lakers history, AD history. It just becomes a part of that. It doesn't surpass either one. It just added to the collection.
Fair enough. Got anything before we get out of here, Richie?
Really quick, actually, jumping back to the Raiders thing, I was really excited to see Derek Carr sign the stadium after that first win.
Hey, man, let them know whose house this is.
Uh-oh, we got some trouble right here. King James.
Well, it's it's a long way to go for both squads. especially for the Raiders, man. We got some things to shore up before we can reach there. Certainly the Steelers, man. If Big Ben can stay healthy, you gotta say they're gonna make a run at it. Well, we got some run, but you know what? If we can get back on track, that's two historic franchises, an old school rivalry. Hey, man, I'm down with it. It's a couple coaches I'm with too. They're Steelers fans, so I love to rub it in their face when we win.
Oh yeah, I'd get Lord Pinnicus on and Jimmy on here with the Raider fans. That would be amazing. That would be amazing.
I didn't pay attention in school to get that reference. So okay, cool.
What do you mean?
The names you just said.
Lord Pinnicus, LP. We had him on.
It was like
talking
the
about
second
the comic
show.
books and talking about the Clippers and calling them hoes, Dick Rivers, Autistic Rivers.
Yo, I'll be drinking on this show, man. I don't be remembering names. Hey, this ain't grandma's tea, okay?
My bad. And King James was when the cops pulled him over. They didn't get that vibe. But I don't think you were on that show.
I wasn't on that one. I don't think I was on that one. I think I missed that one.
Yeah. All right, you got anything before we get out of here, Kalani?
The only thing I got is Vegas Strong Youth Football 13U. We got our first game this Saturday in Arizona, October 10th. We are coming to LA. We are taking on the OG Ducks, one of the prime organizations in youth football. Their 14U was number 1 in the nation, 2-time champions. Our 14U just beat them this past weekend. So we're taking on their 13U October 10th in LA. Joe, if you available to make it down there for the game, my brother, come on down. If not, no worries. It is going to be on like popcorn. Other than that, man, it's good to do the show with y'all. Very happy for my Lakers and for the Raiders to get this win. And about to give me a little shippy ship, as Uncle Shay would say. I'm calling it a night.
Rich, got anything? You want any final words before we get out of here?
Congratulations, Bubba Wallace, Denny Hamlin, Michael Jordan, and all of NASCAR and its fan base, and the hopefully newly acquired fans and maybe new racetracks and all this other fun stuff that can come from all this. New owners. That's the thing I'm looking for, and drivers. I'm excited.
My last words are congratulations to the state of Nevada, Mark Davis, Mark Verdane, everybody that worked tirelessly on Allegiant Stadium getting done. And tonight was the first of many great experiences for Raider Nation and a lot of us who were there from the very, very beginning. A lot of blood, sweat, tears, a lot of work, and I couldn't be prouder of the people that I worked with on this story, and I want to thank them for all their hard work. And one last time, Mark Seidel, love you, bro. Hope to God that you're resting easy and you're going to be missed, brother. So on behalf of Rich and Kalani and myself, thank you for joining FSM After Dark on franchisesportsmedia.com, FSM's YouTube channel, Periscope, Facebook, and Twitter accounts. See you tomorrow night, possibly. Have a good one, folks.